Nimesh Prabhakar. Welcome to Automotive Electronics Lecture Series. In my previous lecture, I have discussed about the modulation for electronics control system, and then after we discussed about the IC engine. That means in that lecture we have discussed the main component of the IC engine and the working of the IC engine. Now, in this lecture, we discussed about the fundamental parts of computer. That means the ECU that use inside the car. That's fundamental parts we discussed. Then we discussed about the input to controller. Then we discussed about the output from controller. Then we discussed about the engine performance terms. So we start with the first one. So engine, or we can say that the electronics engine control system. The short form is the ECU, engine control system. The block diagram, that means this represent inside this figure, is the of the generalized electronic engine control system is shown in this figure. So here the middle portion is indicate the electronics control unit. That means this is the short form, we can say that the ECU, engine control unit or electronics control system. These are placed inside the car. So this ECU is connected with the different sensors. That sensors provide the input to the controller, and according to that input, the controller match this input with the predefined program or the value, and if the error is generated and that error is resolved by the output action, that means the output action is taken by the actuator. Now, the fundamental parts of the computer system we discussed here. So here, this is the diagram of the fundamental parts of the electronic system. So here, first one, the main important part is this CPU. This is the heart of the car, or we can say the car system, the control processing unit. Then second one is the inputs and outputs. So here in this figure we can see these are the different sensors. That is the speed sensor, airflow sensor, and the temperature sensor that provide the input to this CPU, and the outputs. That means these are the actuator, that is the fuel injector, and the EGR, that is exhaust gas recirculation valve. So these are the outputs of this car, this ECU system. So these are the inputs and the outputs. Generally, in the inputs is provided by the sensors, and the outputs we generally provide. That means we can control the output by using the actuator. Now third one is the memories. So here this is the memory. Inside this memory, the predefined data is stored. Then next one is the program. This is the program. And last one is the clock for the timing purpose. So this is the clock. Now we understand the working, how it works. So these different sensors is provide the input data to this CPU. Now this CPU is compared this data with the predefined data that is stored inside this memory. And if the data is not matched with the predefined data of the memory, then the error is generated, and this error signal can be controlled through the output. That means it takes the according action CPU and it provides the output action by using the actuator. So this is the basic fundamental block diagram of the ECU. Now here we discuss about the input to the controller. So to understand this, we have taken this figure. So here we can see this is the engine control system, or we can say the ECU unit, and the different sensors that provide the data to this ECU. So figure identify the major physical quantities that are sensed and provide to the electronics control as an input. So which are they? The first one is the total position sensor, short form is a TPS. Then second one is the mass airflow sensor. Then engine temperature, or we can say in the second term coolant temperature sensor. Then next one is the engine speed, that means RPM and angular position sensor. Then next one is the exhaust gas recirculation valve position. That means the valve is fully open or closed. We can know by using this sensor, EGR sensor. And next one is the exhaust gas oxygen concentration. So this sensor provides information the amount of the oxygen inside the exhaust. So these are the inputs. These are the input sensors that provide the data to the controller. Now output from the controller. So to understand this, we consider this figure. So here the controller is provide the output action to here the ignition system and in the EGR section and also in the fuel metering. So the figure identifies the major physical quantities that are output from the controller. First one is the fuel metering system, metering control. Then second one is the ignition control. And third one is the exhaust gas recirculation control. And fourth one is the fuel tank evaporative emission control. So these are the different controls that are done by using this controller. Now we discuss about the different engine performance term. That means we can know about the performance of the engine by using these different terms, which are the first one is the torque, then second one is the power, third one is the fuel consumption, next one is the engine overall efficiency, next one is the calibration, then next one is the engine mapping. So these are the different engine performance terms. So now we discuss about this. So first one we discuss about the torque. Engine torque is produced on the crankshaft by cylinder pressure pushing on the piston during the power stroke. So we have already discussed in the last lecture what is the operation of the power stroke, and in the power stroke we know that the high energy is generated. So here the torque, so this torque is produced on the piston due to the combustion process that done inside this IC engine. Torque that is applied to the crankshaft is called indicated torque and it is denoted by Ti. The output torque from the engine at the transmission end of the crankshaft is different from this indicated torque, that means Ti, due to friction and pumping losses that are present, and that means the output torque is known as the brake torque, and it is denoted by Tb. First one torque is the indicated torque and it is denoted by Ti. Second one torque is the brake torque and it is denoted by the Tb. Now we consider this figure. Figure shows the central line of the cylinder, which is lying along the cylinder axis through the crankshaft rotational center. During the power stroke, a torque is applied to the crankshaft, resulting from the force acting on the piston due to the combustion chamber pressure acting through a lever arm, which is proportional to the crank throw arm and which varies with the crankshaft angular position. This torque is known as indicated torque. Figure presents the geometry of the piston connecting rod and crankshaft. Here in this figure, this LR is indicate connecting rod length. Then this R is indicate the radius from the crankshaft axis of the rotation to the center of the connecting rod. In many engines, the piston pin is located slightly off the cylinder center CL, which benefits torque production. So in the many engine, this piston pin is not connected at the center of the axis, but slightly off center it is connected. The piston pin offset from the cylinder CL is denoted by the delta. The angle between the connecting rod plane of symmetry and the cylinder axis is denoted by beta. So here this is the angle beta. Now, owing to the piston offset, the indicated torque for the piston on the downstroke is given by Ti theta c is equals to Pc theta c Ar sin theta c plus beta upon cos beta. And here this Ti theta c is indicate the indicated torque as a function of crankshaft angle. Then this Pc theta c is indicate the combustion chamber pressure. Then theta c is indicate the crankshaft angle. Beta is indicate the angle between the connecting rod plane of the symmetry and the cylinder axis. R is indicate the radius from the crankshaft axis of the rotation to the center of the connecting rod. So here in this equation we can see or we can understand the torque is directly proportional to the pressure inside the combustion chamber. That means if the pressure is high inside the combustion chamber, that is produced the more torque. And also we can consider second one condition, that means on the upstroke Ti, that means indicated torque is we can find out by using this equation. So this is the torque, first one term. Now we discuss about the second one term. This is the power. One of the most important metric for engine performance is output power. This power is related to the indicated torque applied to the crankshaft. The instantaneous power applied to the crankshaft by the indicated torque is known as indicated power, and it is given by, or we can find out by using this equation, that means power is equals to TIT into omega E into T. So here this PIT is indicate the power at the instantaneous time T, and WC is nothing but the d theta E by dt. And we know that theta is nothing but the crankshaft angle, and TIT is nothing but the indicated torque as a function of instantaneous time. So we can see from this figure the power is directly proportional to the indicated torque. That means if the torque is high, then the power is also high. The engine output power at the crankshaft is known as the brake power, or it is denoted as a PB. This brake power is difference between the indicated power and power associated with internal power loss due to friction and pumping of the intake, mixture and the exhaust gases. And we can find out the brake power as a PB is equals to PI minus PFB. Now next one term is the fuel consumption. the engine is typically operated at the fixed RPM and a fixed brake power and the fuel power rate is measured. The fuel consumption is then given as the ratio of fuel flow rate, that means F, to the brake power output. Brake power output. This fuel consumption is known as brake specific fuel consumption, that means BSFC. So we can find out this brake specific fuel consumption, or we can say the fuel consumption, by using this formula. Is nothing but the ratio of the fuel flow rate F upon the brake power, or we can say the output power. Now next one term is the engine overall efficiency. Engine efficiency is the efficiency with which the engine converts the energy available in the fuel to the mechanical work. That means we know that we provide the fuel in the engine, and due to that the fuel combustion, the piston is moved and the mechanical energy is produced. So the fuel energy and the mechanical energy ratio is nothing but the engine efficiency. This efficiency, which is denoted by eta m, can be evaluated on the engine cycle by engine cycle basis. It is more convenient to express eta m as the ratio of the instantaneous mechanical power delivered to the load to the rate of change of available energy in the fuel being delivered. That means we can find out the engine efficiency as a eta m is equals to Pm upon Qf into Mf. So here this Pm is nothing but the mechanical power that is delivered to the load, and Mf is the instantaneous mass flow rate of the fuel, and Qf is nothing but the energy content of the fuel. Now next one is the calibration. Engine calibration is the setting of air-fuel ratio and ignition timing for the engine for any given operating condition. That means we know that the air and fuel enter inside the combustion chamber. So the ratio, that means the air and fuel ratio, we have to maintain completely. With the new electronics control system, calibration is determined by the electronic engine control system, that means ECS. Engine control system determine the correct fuel delivery amount and ignition timing as a function of the driver command and other operating variable and parameters. And last one is the engine mapping. The development of any control system comes from knowledge of the plant or the system to be controlled. In the case of automobile engine, this knowledge of the plant, or we can say here our plant is our engine, comes primarily from the process is called the engine mapping. For engine mapping, the engine is connected to a dynamometer and operate throughout its entire speed and the load range. Measurements are made of the important engine variables, while quantities such as the air-fuel ratio and the spark control are varied in the known and semantic manner. So by using this process, we can do the engine mapping, or we can know about the different variables of the engine performance. So this is the engine mapping process. So in this lecture, First, we have discussed about the fundamental parts of computer. Then we discussed about input to the controller. Then we discussed about the output from controller. And last we discussed about the engine performance terms. Thank you. Hello and welcome to our channel Electronics and Communication Engineering. Congratulations to find us for learning. You are watching a lecture session on automotive electronics that has approximately 15 sessions and more are coming up. We have more than 1200 sessions in various lecture series on courses for electronics and communication engineering. Watch it and learn. If you like it, share it, subscribe it and press bell icon to receive all updates on new session. Enjoy learning.